All right, ladies and gents, a little bit out of the ordinary programming because usually we've been in these days very active for the upcoming event in Naples. But I had one person on track that we've been chatting a lot on Twitter, and we just had to do this interview because the sooner I get to know this person, the sooner we familiarize, the sooner I know we're gonna become very good friends. Because if I like someone's art, it usually means that I'm gonna really like the person as well. So until now, it has always been true. And I think that from our previous conversation we were doing offline, I think that there are good chances here also. So, guys, here is Nick. Nick Sheesh, right? Is that or is that maybe like a surname Sheesh? Is not a you actually.
Uh, no, it's Sheehy. It's an
Ah,
Irish name,
Sheehy.
so it's
Sorry,
like
sorry.
a weird two-syllable
Ah,
thing. Yeah,
Sheehy. Okay, okay.
yeah.
So you have what is your background? You said Irish,
No, I'm Australian.
Australian.
But yeah, yeah. I've oh, I've got a cat coming at me. Yeah, I'm Australian. I was born in Tasmania, in Australia, so the
Mhm.
small island down the bottom. Um, and I went to school there and I studied art there. And then as soon as I finished studying art, I left and traveled to the UK, and I've not left.
How are you finding yourself in the UK?
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, like I've lived here longer now than I've lived
Australia?
anywhere else, so it's kind of like it's my home now. So I also have UK citizenship, so yeah,
You're,
I'm
yeah.
Australian and British, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been living in London for like 20 years, and London's just it's an interesting place.
Yeah, sounds great. You got to know some people from the crypto art community in London. You hang out a lot.
Um, yeah, so I've met a couple of people. I've met like Campo and John Carborn. Um, and who else? I've met a couple of people. So I went to Proof of People.
Hmm. Oh, I was there
Yeah.
too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, the guys from
Yeah,
Vertical Crypto Art did an amazing job.
yeah, it's really cool. So I think that was the first thing where I was like, yeah, I got to go out and meet people. And that's what I remember when I was chatting with Andrea before I met him. He's like, dude, you just got to go out and meet people. So like that was the first time I properly made an effort. And also met Truffington, um, Jesse Draxler, and a few other
Mhm.
people. Yeah, but
Lloyd
yeah,
Ruffin was the last interview we did. Before you, he was the last guy I interviewed. Yeah.
yeah, you
Uh,
told me he's a funny guy.
who told you? Okay.
Oh no, no, you told me. Sorry.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
he's super funny guy. Yes. When he came in Italy a couple times, we met. It's odd because like he has this background of being like a businessman, and he really acts like
yeah,
a businessman. But at the same time, he has this PFP of the red monkey, you know. And when you chat with him,
yeah, yeah.
he's Lord Truffington, and I have my truffle pick, you know, of artists. It's like
Yeah.
it's
He's an interesting character. Yeah, had a hang out with him like for a couple of nights, and he's fun. He's fun company.
Yes, 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 absolutely. I would say that he's one of the sweetest people. Also, his Genesis drop on Super Rare went super good to be like the first time dropping something. I think it
Oh
was,
really? I
yeah.
knew that he was doing it, but I mean like it's so hard to keep up with everything on Twitter. Yeah.
Well, the main reason why we wanted to have this chat was also to like just overview some of your work, which actually I have here ready to share. And I want to just first of all to look at some of this crazy stuff that you do because I have this odd sensation that I have seen this art style previously somewhere, or not, but like the things that you do in some way or form are very evocative to me. They are very familiar. So this is why I'm trying to understand if maybe you are heavy influenced by some artist or something because it's just it looks too good, you know. Yeah, seriously, like when I look at this stuff, it just looks too good. So
Oh,
so
thank you.
yeah, like if you're influenced by someone or like how do you get these ideas? Because also like they're incredibly evocative. Some images. Look at this stuff, like some of the stuff that you do, it looks like it should be in a bestiary of like mythological creatures, you know.
I mean, that's a compliment. That's the sort of stuff that that's the sort of thing that I try and strive for when I'm trying to make the work. Yeah, I want it to look like it's sort of real, but not fantastical. If you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like yeah. sort of like almost like bordering on mundane, but also sort of supernatural. So like when you look at it, it looks like it could exist. It's not some sort of part of some fantasy world, if you sort of
Yes, yes, yes,
thing, if
because
that makes
at
sense.
the end of the
Yeah.
day, you use all very very realistic um, like attributes. Maybe like the
Yeah.
three-headed falcon with frog tongues. It's but it looks like a falcon. You didn't go astray into the design or something like that.
No, no. Yeah, I don't really like to do. I quite like the idea of like elements sandwiching or like stacking on top of each other like a sandwich or like a hamburger, like
Uh-huh.
things pieced together, rather than I'm not so keen on like things mutating, if you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean. I like the idea that they've been assembled rather than they've like grown that way, if you know what I mean. I don't. Yeah.
So, for example, is this one digitally painted, or are we looking here at something that maybe was also like 3D modeled? Is this all painted?
This is digitally painted. Yeah.
Wow, it looks so good. The crocodile head and the skull look incredible. Also the salmon. And I see that some images are repeat themselves, like the strawberries, the
Yeah.
crocodile. Do they have any significance?
Um, Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Like I started painting like things like strawberries and raspberries and stuff like that, pieces of fruit. Like I started painting them years and years ago, and they sort of started off as sort of like a symbol for family members
Hmm.
or loved ones. Like because I grew up and I grew up in the country, and we always had like strawberries growing, so it kind of reminds me of like growing up as a child with family members, I guess. And so I started putting those into paintings, and like every now and again, like some new symbol would come along, and I'd put that into a painting. But over time, like they don't always mean the same thing, if you know what I mean. Um,
One thing I have to say is that since you use frogs so much, have you ever
yeah.
thought, or have you ever done, or have you ever like thought of maybe trying to create a fake rare and submit it for the fake rare collection?
I have thought about it, yeah. Um, but the thing about my work is that I quite like it to be just its own thing. So,
Hmm.
like when you start bringing in, I don't know, it would be a fun exercise, and like I think I could do quite an interesting job. But also, like I quite
Hmm.
like that my work is only its own thing. It's not part of like the fake rare sort of thing. It's not part of another. There's no other cultural reference, yeah, cultural
Yeah.
references that come into it. Sort of, it's yeah, it's its own world, I guess.
And when did you start? When do you, so I guess that you had a path as like a digital artist, and then at a certain point you were like, huh, blockchain, and you started minting somewhere. So like what are the key dates of like your artistic period? For how long were you just like doing digital art, and then when did you switch on blockchain?
Um, so I don't like. I haven't been doing digital art that much. I've been mainly painting like traditional acrylics for exhibitions. But I have a lot of I have a lot of digital knowledge. I can use a lot of programs. I can blah 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 blah. But when I sort of got into NFTs, I realized that I can paint these things without actually having to paint them in real life, sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing sort of like it's a technique with acrylic which is sort of loosely based on how like the old masters would paint, where they'd paint in like a grayscale painting, and then they'd layer like glazes over the top.
Uh-huh.
So I took that acrylic technique and put it into my digital paintings, and then I think I minted my first thing in I think April, May of last year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then since then it's sort of like it's been sorry.
Where did you start minting on known origin foundation?
No, I minted my first thing on Rarible.
Oh, I have to say, a lot of people critic Rarible, but from what I've understood, like there was a period in time where Rarible was actually like the place to go to for crypto art.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when I first minted something, I had no idea what an NFT was. I didn't have any friends who were talking about it, and I was following some artists on Instagram, and they were talking about NFTs, and I was just like, oh, this sounds really interesting. And I basically just sort of, I'd never had crypto before. So I went through the whole process of like, setting up a MetaMask by myself, which was trying to get.
Would you consider yourself still like an outsider, maybe? Like, do you, because you tell me, yeah, I'm guessing on a couple of things you told me. Like, you Proof of People was like your very first event where you went out and you were like, oh, let me network with some crypto art people or some crypto people.
Yep.
So like, man, like, because you do something that I have to say it's very unique. Like, I've not seen something similar to this, and anything that I've seen that looks like this, it's not digitally painted. It's like 3D modeled and animated, but still none of the characters and like the imagery that you use, which is like extremely evocative. I think that really, man, we gotta plug you up with the community, because your potential is like incredible. I'm not surprised that you're on Super Rare, and I'm not surprised that most of your stuff is sold out, to be honest, because it's just like so incredibly good.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. So it's okay. You told me that you're not coming to NFT London because it's expensive, but I think I plan to come to London. I also didn't buy the ticket, but
Yep.
if I come up, we should absolutely connect, because I'm planning to go out with a couple of people. It would be very nice,
Yeah,
man.
definitely. Especially if you're meeting up with Andrea or Truffington, or I'm meeting. Do you know Jan?
No, no, not, what's the full name?
I think on Twitter is gene.art.
Don't
You would
know.
know his work, I think.
Let me see.
Let me see if I can find him.
Jane.art. Meanwhile, you said that you also have some. You also so Rarible. You said, right? It's always sneak. I can always find you.
Yeah. So I put something on Rarible, and I think I only put. I mean, I put something on Rarible because there was no, anyone could basically sign up with an account, and there was no sort of there was no gatekeeping or anything like that. And then after I did that, someone sent me an invite to Foundation, because at that point Foundation was, invite only. An artist gets 3 invites. So someone invited me to that, and minted a few pieces on that, sold that, and then Andrea bought a piece off Foundation, and then he said, "Oh, you should probably look at getting onto Super Rare."
And how did that work out for you? Like, I know that for a lot of artists, it's very hard to do the switch. Were you able to like connect with someone that helped you?
Yes.
That's the answer.
But I've been that's all I can say.
Also, with Lord Trappington, we were talking about how did he manage to, from never minting anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's Super Rare is this aspect where I really feel that it's based on your connections. But it's surprising because you're telling me like I don't hang out with the community, but yet somehow you managed to like pull the right context to get into Super Rare. So that's quite interesting. So that's why I was interested. I was trying to figure out.
I don't have any. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to that. Like, it was just basically, I think the right person saw my work at the right time, which I think, that's so much of like putting your work on Twitter and making sales and like getting places is just constantly being there, and the right person seeing your stuff, putting you forward for. I mean, the same way that we connected, it was just happened to be the right person at the right time, sharing
If
the
I
right.
have to be honest, the first time that I saw your artwork, it was because of Andrea, because he made that tweet where he was like, "These are the artists I'm collecting. These are the artists I think are absolutely insane." And I was like, you know what? I trust Andrea. Let me look through each one of these guys. And I was like, very interesting. Then I see you, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck is this guy? Man, like, you are one of those people that when I see their art, I sincerely like hate the fact that I'm 24 and that I'm not in a financial situation to just like hoard shit up, because this is literally the feeling you give me when I see your stuff. Here, I found the Foundation. Oh, nice. So on Foundation, we can also see the stuff that you have on Super Rare. So it's like
I mean, Foundation lists everything these days, doesn't it? So it's probably the quickest thing to go for. So So I should sort of say, like, even though they're not 3D renders, I do use various techniques to get the references for the lighting and stuff like that. So there are, but yeah, there's been some. Yes, I mean, it's weird looking at this work. This is work that I was doing, a year ago. But yeah, as you can see, I like the frogs. I like weird creatures.
I mean, I don't want to sound stereotypical, but like I feel that like crocodiles, turtle, frogs. It reminds me a little bit. I don't know if these are animals that you will usually find in Australia, but these are not usual subjects. Like for example, in Italy, I don't think that we have such a strong imagery of like crocodiles and frogs. And
right, yeah. I mean, yeah. Also, like I did grow up in the country, and we did have frogs nearby, and we didn't have crocodiles nearby. But I think I always I quite like the frogs and the lizards because they have very sort of like humanoid physical attributes, and I don't really paint humans, but you can, like, with a frog you can sort of pose it in so many ways that sort of suggests
I have to ask,
anatomy.
why the faces? Like I see that these faces kind of continue coming out every time. What is the stuff with the faces?
I just like how stupid they are, I guess. It's like I think, like, I think as a person, like I have this side where I like taking things very seriously, and then I also like taking, like, I can't take things very seriously. So I think like my art is where those two things sort of meet, where like I'm putting a lot of effort in and painstaking detail into these paintings, but they're very silly, sometimes stupid sort of scenes sometimes. And I quite like that sort of, like, I don't know, I think it's also like it's nice to create an image that people will look at and sort of, like, if you're into it, you just go, oh yeah, that's different. Or
because there are like several levels that strike a viewer when they watch your stuff. So first is the subjects that you choose, which are all very evocative. Like I feel that if I was doing if I was going back to when I was in New York and I would do some shamanic experiences with my shaman, these are all animals that would be evoked during the shamanic trip: frogs, snakes, butterflies, bats, chameleons, crocodiles. Okay, so first you have all this like shamanic selection of animals, which is absolutely interesting. You add it up with these compositions, as you were saying, where you literally stack up the animals into these odd compositions, and sometimes like this element of the face of nature coming out. It's very, very, very interesting, man. Like this fact that, like, almost like, this evocative shamanic animals and creatures evocate this face which somehow is not natural but represents nature itself. I don't know if I put it quite well, but
no, the thing is, like, I don't really approach each painting or image with a particular meaning. I like the world to sort of, like, with each painting, the world that I'm painting to become richer and richer. So when someone like you comes along and reads it and tries to sort of look for meaning and, like, adds your layer of interpretation on top, that's what I find really interesting, because you speak to people about your paintings and you get all sorts of weird information back, and it's just like, if I was to put a sort of explanation under each painting, I wouldn't get that someone else's interpretation back to me, and it wouldn't be nearly as interesting for either of us, I don't think. So I like that back and forth sort of between the viewer.
So personally, I don't know if you were able to follow more or less what I do. On the sidetrack, I am an artist, but I'm still trying to understand as an artist what the heck I'm trying to say. In the meantime, I'm organizing like events and galleries because I'm so passionate about the space. I've met, like, fortunately, the first people that I've met in the space were like people who had like a very specific mindset and were able to guide me through this world, not on the corporate side, but more on like, cultural. What was the origin of this moment? And from there, I just like sometimes. I'm not born and I'm not from a background of arts, so I cannot define myself as like an art curator or a gallerist. But I have this passion where sometimes I like to figure out new ways of exhibition for NFT galleries. Like for example, for I don't know if you followed, we're doing this gallery in Naples now in Italy. And I know that Andrea is interested to come. He told me multiple times, but he's also telling me that he's not gonna confirm until the last second, which makes me very upset. But we will see. We're doing this crazy gallery in one of the most iconic archaeological museums of Italy, which is like an underground tunnel. And the way that I devised this gallery event to happen was that since we are in an archaeological museum, I wanted to do an archaeological exhibit. So I selected a bunch of NFTs starting from 2015, 16 to sort of like underline the building blocks of the history of crypto art. So that was like a concept for a gallery. Now, looking at your art, I asked this to some other artists as well. You, for example, if someone told you like, "Hey man, let's do like an exhibition for your stuff," in my opinion, a gallery like crypto art, NFTs, digital art, I'm not a big fan of when it gets exhibited like in a museum, you know? So welcome to this fancy white color-based or beige color-based space. We hang the stuff on the wall, and you are a visitor passing by this almost neutral building and witnessing the art. I like when there is a certain level of curation in the exhibition where if I go to see a Nick exhibition, you almost should feel that the space is an expansion of their artwork. Some people disagree. Some people say the space should disappear and just the art should be the focus. And I cannot disagree. But to you, like, how do you feel? Have you ever imagined on how would you have done an exhibition?
Well, I mean, I have done a few solo like painting exhibitions, but yeah, usually they just do end up in galleries with a bunch of white walls. Yeah, you know what? I spend so much time just thinking about the paintings. I never really think about how they're going to be displayed. It's not something I've like. The last time I had to think about it was when I when I was studying sculpture, and I put everything like I was making similar type shapes, but they're all mechanical. They're like like little creatures, like sort of crawling across things. And I did sort of set it up like a natural history museum with specimen jars and stuff like that.
Oh, you know, when I was speaking with Andrea one time in London, we had this crazy idea, and I man, Nick, if we do this, I will have to call you immediately. I proposed no because you know that Andrea also likes creepy shit. You know, I told him. I told him like, you know how cool it would be an NFT marketplace where the only thing that are sold and the NFT marketplace is called like the oddities shop or some stuff like that. You know, America is,
Right.
and you only sell like curated oddities the crypto artists have to submit. How cool would that be? You're talking about like
That'd be
John,
really cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
So,
like an exhibition on that line, so would be absolutely like you go into the oddities shop, but what you are exhibiting are either physical artworks inspired by the crypto art or the artist. It's like give the crypto artist also the ability to do something physical.
Yeah, that sounds cool. You should do it, man.
We should do it.
Okay, all right, we'll do it.
No, because like I don't know if you have this sensation, but like when it comes to crypto art or to digital art, but I don't know why when it comes to art that gets tokenized on the blockchain and collected through a wallet, there's a certain element of buying the artwork and sending it to my wallet and having my wallet feeling as an extension of my person. So almost like I'm acquiring an archetype from you and I'm englobating it into my person. You know, it's a new way of acquiring art from an artist. There's this thing that used to be said that people don't buy your art, people buy you. So it depends on what you are putting into the art and like who are you connected to your art. And this it's very interesting because then instead of being exactly buying you, is like buying your archetype or the archetype that you're trying to describe. So what I'm saying when I say I like your artwork, I'm saying that you are describing an archetype which I don't know why, it's very deep, it's very primordial. It makes me want to say I want to add that to the description of who I think I am. this is how I see buying NFTs. I think it's buying a digital attribute to help me describe who I think I am. Same thing as going to Nike and buying Nike, because I think that the brand Nike is going to help me describe who I am.
That's really interesting, because like I was talking about this the other day to someone else. From my point of view, one of the things that I really, really love about the NFT space is that I get to know the people who buy my work. So like I get to have ongoing conversations. So having conversations before they buy the work, but continuing that conversation after they buy that work. Whereas 99% of my experience before NFTs selling work through galleries, I don't even know the person who buys the stuff. Like the only reason I can find out if someone has bought a painting of mine is if they send me a message on Instagram or something like that saying, "Oh yeah, I bought your painting." But other than that, I have no relationship. So it's one of the things I really, really love, because I don't know if it's like it's part ego or something like that, but when someone buys your work, it's something like I don't want to make it sound super special, but there's something, you spend hours and hours and hours on something, and then for that to connect, especially if it's like painting of frogs doing weird shit, it's quite nice that there's other people in the world that are willing to go, yeah, I really dig that. Here, take my ETH. I'm gonna custody that now, and so that connection is something that's like, the more I'm in this space, the more valuable I find it is.
It is very interesting, yes. Because in the past, when you would buy someone's artwork, you would put them in your house. Maybe in your house was your extension of your person.
Yeah.
But the digital wallet is like such an evolution of it, because because it's going through this. So like the brick and mortar of the house used to be an incredible revolution that extended our conception of our person. But now this is like the strongest evolutional like extra arm that we have, the new organ, So the fact that I collect stuff here now, it really feels like it's inside my person, It's inside my
That's kind of cool.
It really feels like an attribute. And it is like I'm obsessed with gamification. I don't know if you are familiar with this term.
With what?
Because gamification.
Oh, okay,
yeah. So the interesting thing about NFTs and crypto art and the new version of collecting that we have now is that, okay, first of all, yes, you can add to your NFT smart contracts, and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like look at what Murat Pak is doing, for example. Murat Pak is like the guy who's saying art. Oh, but I don't need to do visual art. I can do smart contract art and make gamification my art. And he literally made hundreds of thousands of people buy images of a white ball, because the game was, the more you accumulate, the more it amasses, and that's called oh my god, what was the name of that? It was a game of artificial scarcity. It's not called mass. Merge. But like it's this fact that now there's this new element of the connection between the artist, the artwork, and the wallet of the person. So like not only we get to play with the paint, with the image, now we also get to play with okay, so now I know who has my wallet, and I know that I can do actions to incentivize the guy to sell, to hold. And this is quite interesting. Have you ever thought of that? Like, have you ever thought of maybe creating incentives for your holders, or maybe creating some incentives for burning your art so that something else happens, or because like some artists don't think about that, and they don't have to. Just like curiously. It's a new dynamic in NFTs, so maybe it's something that you could think about.
It's weird. Like at the moment, the whole thing of bidders editions is
what,
when you bid on a auction, everyone who makes a bid gets an edition from not the artwork that they're bidding on, but like maybe a derivative of that artwork.
Bidding edition. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Which I think it seems to have become a hotter topic than I thought it would, because it apparently, so what happens is, if there's a lot of hype around an artist, a lot of people will make huge bids to push the price up, or too many people pile in, and there's a gas war sort of thing. So but I do like the idea of I like the idea of rewarding people who are who make the effort to like bid on the work or are interested enough to bid on the work. So I haven't quite figured out how to do that because I'm not very good. I'm not
But
very.
I don't think you need to do that, Nick, because for example, I know we are constantly talking about Andrea, but Andrea is a good example. I got
Yeah.
a chance to chat with him, and he told me very simply, like, there's not much that I have to do as a rare digital artist. I know, like he said, I'm learning the rules of the game, and the rules
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
game are that I need to mint at a certain frequency to make my artwork seem scarce. I need to increase to maximum the perceived value of my artwork through giving value to collectors. So, for example, in his case, like in the most case of rare digital artists, there is no need for gamification. I was speaking with Emanuele Ferrari, it's an NFT photographer, and I was very pushing this fact of, oh, I think that NFT artists should implement gamification. I think it's so cool. Everybody should do it. And he was like,
Yeah.
man, gamification didn't even start as a thing that needed to be there. Like he was explaining
Yeah.
to me, Xcopy made a free mint edition artwork. Too many people bought it, and so he had to figure out a way to increase scarcity by reducing supply. And that's when he decided to do a gamification game of burning the editions in exchange for something else. And then said, gamification was born as to fix a problem, not to,
Right. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
realize maybe I'm obsessing too much on it, but I think there's like an incredible opportunity there for artists to explore beyond just the art, but like the relationship, between your collector.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something you seem to be interested in.
It's definitely something I'm interested. Like I at the moment, I'm very much just like sort of sitting on the sidelines and watching other people sort of do
Yeah.
their thing, and then like there's a bit of drama on Twitter about it, or some people doing stuff really well, and I keep thinking, oh yeah, maybe I could take a piece of that or a piece of that. But at the end of the day, like I mean, for me, it is maybe similar to what Andrea says. Like it's about the art.
Yeah.
I care about the image at the end of the day. But the thing that I am talking about talking to several collectors about is like the physical, if there's a physical piece behind the digital work. So at the moment, I'm speaking to someone who's kind of interested in like buying, like they want the NFT, they want the original painting. And then conversely, someone who just bought an NFT, I said, oh, can I send you a print as a thank you? And he said, no, I don't want anything physical. I'd rather not have anything on my walls. I just want to have, a nice JPEG on a screen that I can change. And it's weird, like everyone has different, like you speak to different people and they all have different things.
Same from the conversation that we're having, like we're seeing that there are some people in the space that so on one side you can get like and get inspired by the degen community, and so you think, oh, I should gamify everything, I should and then on the other side you're like digital artist or traditional artist, like man, like is the image good, like what are you buying? Is this like good quality artwork, and how do you define good quality artwork? Is it defined on the traditional filters of fine art, or do we have some unspoken new filters that could be based on, is this something that no one else is doing? Is this interesting? Or like how much time does it take to create an artwork like this? I'm not even sure at this point. One thing I'm sure of 100% is that if I had to buy an artwork or like to go and look at something which I would consider good art, I would not go to like most of the contemporary modern art museums because I don't know what the fuck is going on there. But every time I go inside, I'm like, it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun experimenting with stuff. But like this I feel like you're trying to provoke me. Okay, cool, but enough. Like we had almost like 50 years of art as provocation. I think that now we can go back to making very cool evocative stuff, like the stuff that I see that you do.
Yeah, I think like just the amount of like the depth of what you see in the NFT space is quite interesting, and I think like it sort of seems to be growing outwards. I think, which is really good. Like you're seeing like people who are doing oil paintings, more, or whatever, or 3D renders, or all sorts of stuff, and it's just like I like the richness that is developing.
Have you ever
outside of just
considered
digital artwork?
Have you ever considered making a metaverse gallery
I think, what, just for the stuff I've collected or for my own stuff?
for your own stuff?
No, I haven't.
Because I was looking that you I don't know your economical financial situation, so I'm just gonna assume
Yep.
if you got like enough money to maybe hire like a 3D artist to make for you a 3D space. I know that
Yeah.
like on Cyber and a lot of like these other places, you can upload your own 3D space. So what we're
Oh,
talking
right.
about, like making a swamp like 3D space with
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
like jars, and then like your artworks are just like exhibited on tripods held by frogs. I don't know. I have
I'm
to
gonna
be
have to make a
honest.
note
Like
of that.
Nick, this is the shit that I'm looking for. Like the moment I meet someone, the moment I scroll on Twitter, okay, and I see an artist like you or Andrea, the first thing I wish I could fucking do is like I love their artistic vision. I would love to have a filter of life of their artistic vision. So my next thing that I'm thinking is like I need like a metaverse designed by these guys. So imagine if the next step is like you go on the Twitter of this guy, like you for example, or Andrea,
Yeah.
you click and like on Cyber now it's like so easy to access. Like I can go with my phone like this and it's like so easy
Yeah,
to
yeah.
navigate. And literally instead of like the old again, I'm not a fan of white rooms with white walls, but like those are all the presets. But since they
Yeah.
allow you to upload other stuff, like imagine an entire world designed by Andrea where you just like go around, even like maybe a small space, but all designed by Andrea, and you look at his stuff. Or like you, like that's what. Come on, that's like
Yeah, that would be cool. But I mean, the thing is, like, that sounds like a huge project, doesn't it? Like, that's like,
no, no, no,
because
no.
once you put a
Does
wall
it?
up, yep, it's
Does it?
like that wall has to look good.
Okay, it depends.
And
Okay, so I'm seeing that you're one of those artists that is like obsessive. That makes
yeah,
sense.
like it'd have to look good. I think that that's why white walls do well. I guess is because like there's
Because you don't
no
have to.
you don't have to worry about it. It's like, yeah, just paint it nicely. Yeah, you've done a good job. Now we put the
But
work on.
I think that like you already again. Let's show it again. You got already so many artworks. That more or less set the mood. Okay, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it would be as hard as to get. I don't know also if you have 3D skills, but it would be like getting a 3D artist, or maybe you could do some designs for him. You could literally have like not even a big space because come on, you have like 10 artworks here that I see. A space for 10 artworks. You would have to design like you would have to contextualize the four walls, because
yeah,
you have to make it like a reduced limited access space. But instead of being walls, you can make them rocks, for example. So it's like you are in a ravine, you make the swamp. But I don't know if on Cyber allows, for example, the coolest thing would have to have flies over the ponds. But like I
yeah.
don't think that that's something that we can still do. We're not at that level yet. But like again, like for now it can be a dream. But at the level that we're going to, Nick, I think maybe we will go back to this.
Yeah,
Okay, we will
yeah. Give it a month. Yeah.
a month.
Right, technology is fast these days. But I like the idea of rocks. I like the idea of
Yeah,
because
because that's what I imagine when if I have to think of a space for
mm,
what you do, like rocks, ravine with swamp, bomb.
yeah, that's
Or
really cool.
if you don't want to do that, just wait until some of my projects go well, that I make some money, and then I do the oddities metaverse space. Maybe it's not, maybe we don't do a marketplace. It's too difficult. We just do a metaverse space where I
Yeah.
exhibit only artworks of artists that I select or curate. But in order to buy them, you have to go in the metaverse land, go in the oddities shop, and you
Yeah.
will see I will make a display for your next artwork, and you're like, oh my god, is that a jar with like human eyes and like a frog holding them as boobies? Like, yes. Would you like to buy it?
Oh, frog
Bid starts
holding
at
booby
25.
eyes. That's another great idea.
But this is also like again, Nick. I think this is the funniest thing of like getting to know people in the space, because on one level there's like I 100% agree. Like if you want to do something, you have to do it good. And any idea, the moment you want to put it on ground and started to realize it, it's going to be a big project. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get to have like these amazing conversations where you have all these possibilities with the technology, and you go like, I wonder if, if we could. And from my experience, I'm 24, by the way. Like I've been active in the space for almost 1 year now, not too much. And again, we had a lot of what ifs, a lot of be creative. And in 10 months, we went from meeting at my house with some people with like neon lights and just trying out the VR for the first time and talking about NFTs and stuff like that, to now going into one of the most important archaeological museums of Italy and doing this huge event. Which, by the way, maybe later when we are offline, I'll ask you if you want to come. You're more than invited. I would love to have you as a guest, man.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm able to convince Andrea, so that way you can travel together. I'll use you as leverage. I'll say, he said he wanted to come to me.
then you should do the same to me.
But in case, Nick, I'm 100% sure after Naples, unless something horrible happens where I have to take like 1 week of break because my soul will have been drained from organizing the event,
which can happen. Yeah.
And, it has happened, but I think I'm already making plans to come up, and especially if I don't have to go to NFT London, I just get to be with some friends and hang around. I'll be very happy to see you there, man.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
That's is it 19th of November or something like that, isn't it?
No,
it's coming up short.
3, 4, and 5 of November.
Oh, okay. I've got my dates wrong. Oh, okay. It's like
so
2 weeks.
One last thing before maybe we bring to a close this interview. Are you preparing anything new to drop?
So at the moment, I do have a solo show of real paintings that I need to do for next year, which will be in Copro Gallery in Santa Monica, which will be mid 23, 2023. So currently working on that and trying to get a sort of like a schedule of minting something like once a month. So that's a lot of ideas that I've got to try and.
Do you have a rule of like minting only when everything you have previously minted goes sold out, or you don't care? No,
I don't care too. I mean, the thing is, I can't. I mean, the work usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to make a piece, like from start to finish. So I don't think there's any real danger of over minting at the moment. I mean, let's see how long how bad the bear market gets.
Yeah, no,
I could be
crazy. It's crazy. I have some people who sometimes stop me and they say, "You think it's bad now?"
Yeah.
And I'm going, "No, man. What are you talking about? Like Ethereum was at 4,000. I bought Ethereum at 4,000, man. Where do you want it to go? It was at 900 like a couple of weeks ago. Please, man, please." They go like, "Yeah." The worst that still has to happen. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's weird. I noticed that like a couple of months ago, like all the artists were complaining, like this is tough. But like recently, all the collectors and all the people that you think have got like unlimited money, they're saying this is tough, and they're like, oh, I think I need to take a break because I can't.
I have some. So because I'm doing these events and galleries in Italy, I have my influence, so I'm able to like chat with some of the top crypto artists in Italy. And there's this one friend of mine, Clapis, that now he does not live in Italy anymore. He moved to Dubai, but like he was telling me, man, the market is tragic. The only thing that everybody's looking for right now is just the content to populate the Twitter page, because this is what crypto art is now, just creating content for Twitter. What the fuck?
Yeah,
but it gives me an important role because I'm helping all these people to create content, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, and I think like it's all doom and gloom at the moment, but it's actually like I find myself like keep saying to people, it's like for me, I found this actually quite a rewarding time because there's less noise in the space. This year I've made friends with like some great people, and I've connected with some great people in real life and on Twitter, and it's just like and I've been lucky enough to have 2 or 3 like sales, in a kind of a regular time period. So
I was checking, man.
I think like it's I don't know if I've just been lucky, but I've actually had quite a good time of it recently. I mean, I don't want to jinx things, but it's been a nice, like, it's been good for connecting with people, and I think that's half the deal of trying to get your work out there is making those connections, as you definitely know yourself. And with less people shouting around you, it's easier to, like, here's a weird picture of some frogs doing stuff. Come over here.
Again, I think you can run from it, but you will always have the shadow of Pepe following you as long as you can try, but it's good maybe that you don't embrace it. It's this sort of like people know, but you never give them the full satisfaction of saying, haha. It's always like, it's my thing. If you think that, it's because it's the culture. Well, this was an absolute pleasure, Nick. And you have one piece unsold on Super Rare. And if anybody is looking here and the bear market is not devastating your wallet right now, I highly encourage you to be possessed by my ghost, because if I had your financial situation, whoever is watching who has them, I would be getting that piece right now, because the stuff that this man does is absolutely incredible. And I wish one day, Nick, to get to a position where I will be influential and maybe financially stable enough where I can literally pick an artist and be like, man, you want to do a gallery, but we do it cool. Okay, you do it with me. This is my fucking dream. I don't want to be an artist that goes like, oh man, I'm yes, but what I like to do is like work with someone that has like an amazing artistic vision and say, you want to do something, you want to do some amazing shit and have zero worries and just like have me to power up your vision. Let's fucking do it. This is my dream. I hope one day, Nick, to be at that level, and in that moment, that you are in one of those few people that is my wish to be able to. Man, I know
you're saying so many nice things.
You don't know me yet. We're having this first chat, but when we go to London, I'm super nice, man. Oh, look, there's some comments from because people that are watching us on YouTube actually can make comments. This is the first time, by the way. So for anybody who's watching, yes, this is a feature that we have, and I'm very happy that we're finally using it. All right, Nick, lots of love, lots of respect. What you do is absolutely amazing, and
thank you so much.
Man, I can't wait for that piece to go sold out. And you now said that you are minting a new one every month. It's gonna be like you're gonna try.
You're gonna try. Sometimes the works come out quickly, and sometimes that you really have to wrestle them out. So
to be honest, I'll wait for it like if it was my favorite TV show coming out monthly. To be honest, seriously, man. Yeah. All right, and you were talking about bidding editions. If you ever start working on some smaller pieces for bidding editions, that would incentivize me to actually bid on your stuff, because it would allow you to, so just saying.
So it does work.
Yes, because like I would be happy to just get the bidding piece, because I would love to have something of you, even if it was very small. That's all.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna end the stream now. You can stay so we can chat a little bit offline. But again, thank you for being here, and thank you. I was not surprised, but like it's amazing to find the very nice people like you. So thank you for everybody watching. Nick, thank you so much. And maybe we can do this some other time if something very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
And here we go.